Requirements advanced. Alright, this will be a fun little test because I'm a straight beginner. But we're gonna power through this fucking course. I want to see. Where's your paid version, bro? You gotta plug it. Is it just not out yet? Oh, fuck. That's awkward. I'll have to fix that. I mean, all of the reviews are pretty recent. 24 days, load more. I don't know, I guess a month. Huh, interesting. So I'm assuming he's alluding to there's a paid version of this course, but maybe it's just not out yet. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Alright, input color space should be Rec 709.
Oh shit, he's going right into it. Okay. I get my node. Rec 709. Holy shit. Dude, just for context. This is why this says advanced. Input color space. Just an infinite jumble of words and things that I don't know. Couldn't tell you what they mean. And I also don't see Rec 709. Fuck. Is this... Okay, we're on the fire clip. Wait, stop. Damn it. Rec 709. Never mind, I'm just blind.
Linear, as it's what EXRs use. And actually, it's worth mentioning that as long as you export the EXRs from Blender, no matter what was set in the view transform, in the color management, basically this full menu including exposure and gamma, it won't matter.
Okay.
It will always be encoded as linear Rec 709.
Okay, good to know.
It is just worth memorizing. Then the output color space can be Rec 709 and output gamma is RGB if we target the same output as in Blender, the same type of display.
sRGB.
Well, arguably, if you want to be on the safer side, the gamma can also be a pure power function of 2.2 or 2.4. That may lead to shadows having a slightly lifted look on some displays.
Wait, what? Ah, shit.
2.4. That may
Output gamma. Oh, okay.
lead to shadows having a slightly lifted look on some displays, and there's no way to tell which
that's
one
way too
the user
advanced.
will have anyway. But
We
some
don't
colorists
need that.
argue that it's still better than having the shadows crushed on certain monitors when using the piecewise sRGB function.
Certain monitors,
I
we
know
don't
that
care
may
about
sound
that,
confusing,
bro.
the difference between the sRGB
I have
and
like
gamma
2 different monitors.
2.2 and 2.4 output. We throw around many technical terms without
One's
really
good.
explaining it.
Actually, one's
But
decent,
I
one's
promise you we'll
dog
get
shit.
to that in the next video from this series. For now, let's just set the output gamma to sRGB
Okay.
and leave the rest of the settings like that.
Okay.
Just pointing out that these extra OOTF checkboxes at the bottom are switched off for now. And these are the settings so far. Feel free to copy them.
Dude, he's just speaking in a different language. Like, I haven't retained or understood anything he's said so far. It's just me memorizing Rec 709 and linear. That's it. What am I doing?
Okay, we have some other things to do now. We've just instructed Resolve how to interpret our linear Rec 709 for display using this menu.
Okay.
But
Does it
here
look
we
different?
have one more menu to tackle,
No.
which is called tone mapping and is set to DaVinci by default. Actually, it doesn't do much
What?
in the way it's set up right now, so we can switch it off temporarily by setting it to none. Now, what is tone mapping and why do we even need it? Haven't we just instructed Resolve how to interpret our linear Rec 709 EXR correctly by this thing? Well, yes and no. These inputs and outputs have defined the basic display transform, but in Resolve, to make it look good, you'd need to also play with the tone mapping part. It's just the way this effect is broken down into few subsections in
What?
Resolve compared to Blender.
How do people learn
In
this?
Blender though, the view transform like Filmic encompasses both the display transform and the tone mapping part on top. In fact, if we wanted to remove the magic part, we would have to switch to standard. What is called tone mapping in Resolve would be switched off, and we would have horrible highlights. We will lose all the film-like tone mapping qualities.
Okay.
Blender will just naively plot all the HDR values to display, and that's it.
I love how he says
To
naively.
reiterate, the problem with not having a proper tone mapping in either Blender or Resolve is that without it, the part of the dynamic range, specifically the highlights and the saturated parts, will end up outside the visible range after display conversion. That would be very sad indeed. I hope it makes sense. Different software throw different technical terms at us, so
That's happened a couple times where it just goes like silent for a second.
saturated parts will end up outside the visible range after display conversion. That would be very sad indeed.
Oh, never mind.
I hope it makes sense. Different software throw different technical terms at us, so it becomes rather confusing.
I don't know what any of these
Generally,
terms
the
mean.
terms like tone mapping, display rendering transform,
Okay.
or DRT,
Yeah.
or view transform all
Uh-huh.
mean a similar thing. A process of converting one color space to another. Then
Sure.
some software, like Resolve, also singles out the magic part, calling it tone mapping and making it a separate sub-menu that is meant to handle highlights and saturation and all that stuff. Let's put it like that.
What?
If any of this doesn't click immediately,
None of
or
this
even
makes sense.
doesn't make sense at all, it is actually normal to be confused about color management. We're throwing in lots of concepts
Good.
and terms like sRGB, linear, whatnot. Feel free to breathe out and rewatch any sections if you like, and I promise it will eventually make sense.
I promise you I'll be
The
rewatching
relaxing
this
operation
multiple
of
times.
words.
Alright.
So in Blender we have a very sophisticated, very cool view transforms with the tone mapping part being included into them like Filmic and AGX,
Uh-huh.
which handle highlights and saturation gracefully. Now how to set it up like that in Resolve? Well, that's what I'm gonna show in a second.
Okay.
Even though later on we'll have a look at various view transform methods including AGX, Filmic and more, for now let's have a look at the DaVinci's own tone mapping.
Okay.
If we turn it on,
Turn
and
it
then
back to
tick the
DaVinci.
Use Custom Max Input checkbox and increase the
Custom
max
max
input, we will
input.
notice something very similar to Filmic and AGX and how the highlights got rolled off. It kind of makes sense. Neat.
Does it? Ah, fuck. You're like here. So he's playing with this little... What? Max input? He's seeing a difference. I'm not. I hate there's a play and stop button. Okay, I don't see a difference, but I trust him. DaVinci, use custom, 48, yeah.
These are used to measure the brightness, so by increasing this limit we allow the higher intensity light to reach the screen essentially.
Okay, I'm assuming
Hence
it's not
the
live.
graceful roll-off. Okay, I usually play it safe and raise that ceiling all the way to 10k to the
Oh,
end, even
alright.
though it appears to do very little here.
Bet.
What does it mean? There's no more nuclear yellow picking it through.
That's some bullshit. Because I'm getting a lot of nuclear yellow. Alright.
And it kind of made it already look like it could be a decent alternative to Filmic.
What? What? What'd I miss?
We have a very sophisticated, very cool view transforms with the tone mapping part being included into them like Filmic and AGX, which handle highlights and saturation gracefully. Now, how to set it up like that in Resolve? Well, that's what I'm gonna show in a second.
Was I fucking with the... No,
Even
I
though
wasn't.
later on we'll have a look at various view transform methods including AGX, Filmic and more, for now let's have a look at the DaVinci's own tone mapping. If we turn
DaVinci?
it on and then tick the Use Custom Max Input checkbox and increase the max input nits.
See, his does something. Why does his do something and mine doesn't? His workspace also looks different. This isn't keyframes, this is scopes. I don't know how to change that shit, man. Oh, Christ almighty. Curves. You're a graph. Okay, this is what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Holy shit. So I fixed this. It was on this before. I changed it to graphs. This was on this color dropper. We've got the curves. Ours look vastly different. If he's at 120, we might have different fucking animations. So if you see he's changing,
including AGX, Filmic, and more. For now, let's have a look at the DaVinci's own tone mapping. Checkbox and increase the max input nits.
When he changes this in that like 2 frames,
then tick the use custom
of
max
him changing it, like sliding the slider, his picture view is doing something, right?
input checkbox and increase.
Look at that, right? This is moving, it's showing. When I do that, and I go to here, nothing changes. So that makes me think we're already a tad lost here. What that might be and why we're lost, I have no fucking clue. I mean, shit, yeah, like it said, this do be advanced, huh? I'm just clicking on random buttons. I guess I'm in timeline 1. He's in comp 32. Like, I'm literally playing, like, Where's Waldo of, like, what's different. I don't... Our viewport's different. Our...
The max input.
Ah, shit. I'll go back.
Turn it on and then tick the use custom max.
Are we in a different view? Are we... Holy mother of God. This is complex. He's got his clips here. We're in color. Oh, Jesus Christ. I have no idea, man. Oh, mine's parod. Give me waveform. Okay, now that looks the same. Color space transform is on Rec 709, linear 709, sRGB, DaVinci, custom 10, custom 100. I couldn't tell you why this is so different. Shit. This must be incredibly incredibly entertaining to watch. It's literally like playing Where's Waldo of what's different. Like, he's got his clips here. Why are my clips there? Oh, that's why my clips weren't there. You just had to click that button. Cool. Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that when I change my value, nothing changes, right? I'm not crazy here. That's... fuck it. Minor detail.
Input checkbox and increase the max input nits.
Just has to be 10,000, right?
Very similar to Filmic in AGX and how the highlights got rolled off. It kind of makes sense. Nits are used to measure the brightness, so by increasing this limit, we allow the higher intensity light to reach the screen, essentially.
Actually, maybe it's not a minor detail. Why does, like, when he changes his, it does something. And when I do that, it doesn't. And I think the reason that's a problem is because his looks good. Mine's still blown out as... blown to all hell. How the fuck do I figure that out? Fuck, man. Alright, whatever.
Actually. Hence the graceful roll-off. Okay, I usually play it safe and raise that ceiling all the way to 10k to the end, even though it appears to do very little here. What does it mean? There's no more nuclear yellow picking it through, and it kind of made it already look like it could be a decent alternative to
Maybe we're just getting schemazed by his render output, and this isn't live. Maybe that's what it is.
Filmic. Even though at
That's what I'll
closer
tell
inspection,
myself.
Filmic still seems to preserve slightly more detail in the hot areas by somewhat desaturating them in a very cool way. That being said, the DaVinci's display transform doesn't look that bad. There will be time when we talk precisely about these things, display transforms, in another video. For now though, let's stop ourselves on the shoulder for setting up a decent one in Resolve.